Welcome back
To three-way call.
with Britt Fallon Star.
Yay, ladies. I feel like this is the first weekend I haven't seen either of you in months. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
Like withdrawal.
Meanwhile, I'm just collecting all the stuff for us to create together.
Yes, yes. Did you do anything fun?
Oh, absolutely not. Actually, this was a really chill. I was so desperate for a weekend of alone time and recharging. I didn't see anyone, and it was awesome. I did go to the movies.
Oh, what'd you see?
F1. It was so good, you guys. I
I
mean,
do want to see it.
10,000 stars. Best movie. The
Really?
soundtrack is so hot. Brad Pitt's so gorgeous. It's just a beautiful movie. Way better than Mission Impossible. Don't even waste your time with that one, in my opinion.
Ooh, I'm over Mission Impossible movies.
How many do we need?
Good on those.
What is this like 10, 12? The last one, supposedly. But I gotta fix these headphones. Oof, I got my hair done, and so now it's just like a lot of hair.
I'm gonna say your hair looks more today.
It's so full. I'm gonna actually go through. Girl, Abby did a great job, but I gotta take out some. It's just too, I can't even wear the headphones. It's too much. It's too much. Britt, how was San Diego?
Oh, it was so nice. I needed that. Needed a recharge. I needed to be in that weather. I needed to be by the ocean. It was a good time. Yeah.
It looked pretty and peaceful.
Yes, and I came back to 113 degrees.
So hot. Val, what'd you do, girl? I barely got the end of
Yeah, I
the
did not do anything, girl. I've been under the weather, so I took a weekend to myself. I'm probably gonna take another one to myself this upcoming weekend because I just one weekend isn't enough.
I
So,
know, just to recharge. Because we're normally so back to back to back to back, right? With all the things. And I know, like last weekend, we had a birthday and we had a baby shower and
hmm
tons, just so many things. I was at events. I'm like, give me some. But it's 4th of July this weekend.
Yes.
So just still want to be chill, but I feel like I'll be out and about, just more chill.
But yeah, I feel like I now, like after the weekend, like I need a few days to like recoup. And then it's going to be the weekend again. And then it's going to be 4th of July. And I'm like, okay, I do just need these few days.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of 4th of July, tonight I wanted to ask y'all, like, because I feel like I'm blessed to have these amazing friends who balance their goals, their wellness, your maintenance, weight, where you are, what you're working on really well. And one of the questions I get asked all the time is like, how do you balance your life, what you're eating with all the events, all the activities? So I wanted to kind of dive into that and make it super simple and doable and really fun for the gals that are tuning in with us. So I guess actually, now I'm thinking about it, my first question for you is, what's your opinion on cheat meals? Like, do you feel like cheat meals is even a thing? It's something where we actually, because there's a lot of debate on social media, I find. Some coaches are like, no, there's no such thing as a cheat meal. You don't want to think about your food that way. And then some people are like, well, I'm going to kind of do my cheat meal and then it's only going to be once every so often. So what's your temperature on that?
Wait, I have a quick question though. So when they say don't think of your food like that way, like as a cheat meal, like what do they say like what they would refer that to or like do you know what I'm trying to say? Like if they don't want to call it cheat meal or say like what do they say that is or like
Right, what do you call it? So
exactly.
when I was competing, I just kind of reworded it. Like a lot of my idols that I follow in the competitive world call it like an untracked meal because I was tracking every single meal except for this one meal, this day of the week, untracked, kind of just enjoy and eat mindfully. So that's kind of the way that I word it. But from what I hear, a lot of coaches who do teach people how to have a healthy relationship with food, which is something that I like to teach my gals too, is more of because unless you've got like some serious, gluten allergy or dairy, you also want to pay attention to certain things. And Brittany is super well versed in this too, like foods that are cause major inflammation, things like that. You want to have a more of a well-rounded diet. No real foods are off limit. I like to think of it as flexible eating. So more of
Mm.
like your food is your budget, and where do you want to spend that budget, and how do you want to spread it out throughout? For me, it's like a weekly thing. Some people do daily, some people do monthly, but food as a budget, I think, is something that really helps me and my gals. But what do you guys, Britt, what would you say about that? What would you say about like the cheat meal mentality?
Yeah, well, when I was competing too, it was referred to as a cheat meal. And I think nowadays it's definitely got like a different word framing around it because of that mental aspect to it. I try not to use that phrase with my clients because especially I'm not, that's not usually their goal. Like we're healing mostly. So changing their lifestyle habits with food is what we're focusing on. So they should be able to find balance to some degree with that. But for me personally, if I am focusing on a goal, obviously I'm a little bit more strict with myself, especially coming from that place of like track your macros and eat this at this time and whatever and eat your carbs around your training and stuff like that. And so if I'm going to eat outside of that, I still don't really like consider it a cheat meal as much as I'm just I'm more of like a 90-10 kind of person. 90% of the time I'm eating whole foods. I'm eating cooked meals at my house and then like the 10% I'm eating with you guys or like going out and I'm enjoying that and that's taken a lot of pressure off of me and that's how I found the best balance. That's how I've found the best way to like not get stressed about that word, that cheat meal, that whatever. Because even then, when I was competing and it was a cheat meal, I'd be like, oh my gosh, now I have to go eat something bad, quote unquote bad. That's like, then it messes with you. Like, this is bad.
Right. The labeling of the food. This is good, this is bad. No bueno.
Yeah.
Val, what's your take on that?
Interesting. I'm similar to Brit in the, I wouldn't say mine's a 90-10. Mine's probably more like 80-20. But mine's more 80-20, like 80, I feel like I eat pretty clean. 20% is all splurge on things. And I think I don't really use like cheat meal or anything like that either, but I also don't, I never have looked at it negatively either. So you guys are, opening my mind to that. But I just feel like what I've learned over time is to not make myself feel bad for not eating a very clean, strict, you know, healthy diet. Like for so long, I think if I wasn't eating that way, I would make myself feel bad about it. And I feel like that's not good. And
hmm
then it would kind of make me more sad. And then sometimes it would make me eat worse things, as
hmm
crazy as that sounds. But I feel like that happens. And so I've just always told myself, you know what, like if I want that cookie, I'm gonna eat that cookie. And I don't,
Yes.
you know what I mean? If I want that slice of cake or whatever, I will eat that slice of cake. Like I'm not gonna talk down to myself about it. I'm not gonna make myself feel bad about it. But also with that, I feel like comes balance, right? And so you're gonna want to make sure that you're, eating clean, but, indulge if there's things that you like that aren't the greatest for you. Like, I feel like it's okay to have it in moderation, obviously, but as long as you are taking care of yourself every other way, you know what I mean? I feel like why not have a piece of cake? Like, don't put it down,
Right.
girl. Eat your cake. You know what I mean? Like, you just ate well for however many meals before that. You just went to the gym. You're doing, you know what I mean? Like, as long as I feel like you're doing other healthy things and have other healthy habits, like, I'm not too crazy with the food. And I feel like that's really helped me, the mindset over it for sure.
Yeah, and that is typically where I'm trying to get the girlies on the Bear Squad to be mentally with food. As Britt mentioned, it is a lifestyle change for a lot of us. So, really having for me, being a restrictive dieter in the past, being like 100 out of 100. Okay, no, I cannot eat that. I will not have those carbs. Going from I will not eat when I go out. I'm gonna have, I mean, when I'm competing, obviously it's a little bit different. I have to play the game a little bit different when I go out. But now coming especially out of the competition, I haven't competed in what, like a little over 2 years. And so finding that balance of I don't actually have this super strict body physique goal. And so now I actually get to play around a little bit more with my what that balance looks like and maintenance weight too, where I'm not always just trying to be as lean and as shredded as I can possibly get. But I love that you said the 80/20 works for you because that's typically what I teach. For me personally, it's probably more like 85/15.
Mhm.
But Brittany always inspires me to get that extra 5%. I'm like, dang it, I really should. In like the littlest, like, but most impactful ways. It's such a beautiful, I love that 90/10 balance. But for most people, what I find is the 80/20 is going to be a little bit more manageable. But Britt's been doing this for a long time, like me. So we can get to that 90/10. And I think for most people, finding that balance, the 80/20 is like a sweet spot. And I even was chatting with one of my gals tonight. She's like, what do I do for, 4th of July? But speaking of, because we're always like we were just saying, our weekends are jam-packed. We don't always get to eat those meals at home on the weekends. What are some of the choices that you guys like to kind of go by when you're out and about and having a meal and maybe mocktails, cocktails with your friends to keep that balance going, even when we're out on the town, as they say.
Yeah, for me, if we're going out to eat or we're going to a barbecue, for example, like we're going to go to a barbecue on Friday, I already know what they're going to have. It's not it's not likely that I'm going to eat that, not because I'm like, oh, I'm too good for that kind of food. It's just I don't feel good eating that kind of food, you know? So typically I'll
Yes.
eat my protein food prior to going. And then I know they're going to have like fruits and veggies. I'll probably do that. And whatever carbs they have, I might do that too. So that's where I'll balance that. So I'm still like enjoying that time. And I'm not like, oh, I'm not eating your food, or whatever. And it to me, the way you eat should reflect whatever your goal is. So if mine is just balanced lifestyle, then I'm going to be more balanced. If mine is like I'm cutting and I'm trying to lose body fat, I have this specific goal, my food habits are going to reflect that. If that means I have to bring a meal to this event, that means I have to bring a meal to this event. Because
Hmm.
because nothing is like more important than like that goal at that time to me.
Mhm.
The only thing that I'll say that is more important is like if I'm traveling somewhere, because then that is now more important to me than, whatever. So, there were times in the past where I've brought food to restaurants. Well,
Hmm.
just because we're celebrating something, but we're out at Oregano's and I'm not going to eat pasta because I'm not, my carbs are like 100 grams or whatever it was, and I bring
Hmm.
my own food. So it depends. I'll say one meal isn't going to derail you.
Mhm.
It's the constant meals that are going to derail. It's
Mhm.
every day having that meal. It's having that meal several times a day, like, or whatever those foods are that are going to derail you. So, one, I'd say what's more important to you, enjoying that time or sacrificing not eating that one thing for an hour. You know what I mean? For that moment. It's really kind of comes down to a mindset place to be too. If you want I still enjoy my time all the time is the thing. So I feel like the focus should be less on the food and just you enjoying your time.
Yeah, 100%. And that is the other part of what I like to chat about when we talk about going out and events and the lifestyle part of it. The food is just one. I mean, our culture unfortunately makes everything about food. Like we're celebrating something, let's go eat. It's
Mhm.
somebody's, passing on a funeral, there's tons of food. At least at the Black and Filipino funerals I've been to. There's, when we're sad, some of us are emotionally eating, right? And so taking the focus off the food and more about the experience, which especially if you're with someone or you're on a holiday, you're traveling, things like that. I 100% agree.
But still, when you choose foods, like my biggest thing, like for my own clients, is when they go out and, they'll have like an anniversary night or they're just a date night or whatever, just or go out with their girlfriends. Um, I do say like, and it might sound crazy to some people, but I always will check the menu in advance if I can, not just because I want to know like how do I fit this into my macros when I'm tracking, which I'm not right now, but also like, do they have food I like? Is the other thing, right? Because I'll still go and just like eat whatever here and just maybe get an appetizer or something small there. But one thing is like my clients will check it, and it depends too, again, on their goals. Like if they're doing like a gut protocol or something, that's a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more on top of the foods that you're putting into your body when we're going through a gut protocol, when we're cleaning up the gut, when we're trying to reduce inflammatory foods and we're trying to take that toll off the gut for a little bit, then yes, I want them to be checking the menu before they go. It doesn't take very long. Find something you like on the menu. Um, Preferably go to a restaurant that you think is going to have like those better options for you. Um, that's one thing that I do. And then always just I focus on making sure I'm having a protein rich meal every time,
Hmm.
and no matter where I go. If they don't have a
Hmm.
protein rich meal, then I'm like, this isn't really for me. Or I just make sure that I consume a little bit more protein before I go.
Hmm.
So those would be like my main balancing things is like check before you go, protein rich meal, and just making sure that meal is balanced as much as possible. And then enjoy mocktail or two. I say two. I've never enjoyed two mocktails. A mocktail, one. And I mean, I'm just not afraid, I don't think. I just don't care because I care more about what I'm putting into my body than I care about like asking a weird question to the waiter.
Yes,
How
on
sugary is
that
this
part.
mocktail? Like, make it less sweet for me, like what I will ask the question because I want to think
Yes.
I think it's a fair thing to ask.
My family used to give me the hardest time. So when I first started competing and on the rare occasion where we would still have some kind of family food outing. And so I would have to order like, hey, can I have sauce on the side? Can I have my veggies not cooked in any oil? No, none of this stove, no fried, just grilled. Actually, just bring it fresh just to keep it safe. Like things like that. They would be like, okay, Star's gonna order. She's got 18 modifications. What is it? Fast forward to 2025 now. My brother is gluten-free. He is lactose intolerant. So he's the one making all the different requests at the menu, at the ordering. And it's just so funny. I'm like, remember? And now my mom is gluten-free, So I'm like, you guys. And I'm like, I'll just have it as is, maybe the sauce still on the side because it's tons of extra sugar, but
I'm just having flashbacks of going out to eat with you, and all you would get is a plate of cucumbers.
yeah,
Literally, that was her meal, and no matter where we'd go, Star would order a plate of cucumbers, and that would be her meal.
telling you what, I don't want to miss your birthday. I will be there. I have a show next weekend, but I will be here for your birthday,
But I
girl.
will, yes, I will enjoy these cucumbers with you, girl.
Yeah, I love
But
that.
Yeah.
that also reminds me too, like, d- also don't be afraid to like modify things on the menu, just because, I have such a restaurant background, so I know like we're able to modify. Like if they have certain ingredients and you see like things aren't the exact way that you want them to be, they can 9 times out of 10, they can usually make whatever you want. Like I'm a huge modifier person, especially to make a meal a little bit healthier, like you guys are saying. Also, I love a good side dish. Like I'll order from the sides, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? A side of veggies or whatever, a side of, sweet potato, a side of what, a grilled chicken breast, whatever. Like you can, most places I find when you go, like you can kind of create, they'll work with you. Don't be afraid, like Britt said, to ask questions and to, ask them to help you to, make things the way that you want them to, because most of the time they will.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder because that's part of the reason when my family was giving me a hard time about it. I'm like, I used to be a server and bartend. Like it's all they have to do is put it in the computer. It's okay. And now a lot of places are even asking like what allergies, like what are we working with? And it might not be an allergy, but hey, I've got fitness goals. Okay.
But
So
yeah, they'll have a gluten-free menu or a vegan menu or vegetarian menu. All you have to do is ask and they, usually will have something like that too.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's some apps that are coming out now. There is an app called Find Me Gluten Free, which is
Ooh.
got like restaurants that have gluten-free options for you. There is Seed Oil Scout, which is like restaurants that don't use seed oils. Like that's a great place to start, but a lot more restaurants are also just sort of going with that flow too, which is great to see with
Yeah.
with those options for people. So,
That's really helpful because more and more people are starting to understand that their body does not do well with gluten. So that's so helpful. I just wrote that down for my brother. Find me gluten free. So I wanted to ask you guys if you have any non-negotiables for maintaining where you are now, like for, because I think I can think of a couple for our girl Britt, but I don't want to assume. I want you to share. What are they? Because I think so many people can benefit from, just how you all take care of yourselves. I mean, especially Fallon, we don't even have to talk about weight maintenance. We can talk about hair and skin, girl, because that is
Mhm.
your very, very expertise. So please
Yeah.
share.
Well, like how we talked about, in a previous episode about, ingredients in your hair care and skincare, that goes a really long way. I've been, into the clean beauty industry and looking into my ingredients for a long time now, and I feel like that has really helped maintain my skin and my hair. Um, I also like supplements to me are non-negotiable. That's something that I take every single morning. I take like 8, 9 different supplements. I feel like that really helps. Um, and also just staying active, moving your body, whether you want to go on a walk or you like to lift weights at the gym or you like to go on a run or, you like to do yoga or even just simply stretch, doing something that moves your body. I feel like that the supplements, the clean hair care and skincare, and then obviously trying to maintain my 80/20 diet, if you will. I feel like, and drinking lots of water, staying hydrated. Um,
Beautiful.
and yeah, with the right electrolytes, I feel like all of those things are probably just my non-negotiables to keep me right and tight.
That is a good mix, girl. And speaking of electrolytes, I just heard of this brand called Element. Have you guys heard of it? It's
I've
like
seen it, yes.
yeah, I guess it has no sugar, I think, no artificial sweeteners maybe. But it's like all the rage right now, so I want to try and pick that up and try it actually.
I've been seeing that all over the gram.
Yeah. But yeah, girl, that's a beautiful combo. That makes a lot of sense, especially with your hair and your skin and the ingredients. I'm trying to get better with that. What about you, Britt? Any non-negotiables?
non-negotiables for maintenance.
Yeah, like your overall, I guess, wellness, weight maintenance.
So right now, I feel like my non-negotiables are protein.
I know,
Obviously.
seriously.
No, like I just feel like I just have like a foundational place when it comes to my nutrition for my hormones specifically. Take my supplements, quality food is a non-negotiable. So quality salt that I'm putting in my water, the quality of the fats I'm consuming, the quality of my protein and meats and things like that. Um, I make sure those are non-negotiables. I would also say my movement is a non-negotiable and my sleep is a non-negotiable. Those are pretty huge too, just for maintaining all of this balance with my hormones and things like that. What do you think my non-negotiables are, though? I want to know what you were thinking they were.
Yes. Well, I'm thinking with the seed oils in that category, which I am doing better with thanks to you. That was the main one. But what else? Mostly And then kind of similar to what we were talking about in our other episode with like your products are really, really, I would say like, I mean, I don't actually know, but I'd say like from what we've chatted about, like almost 100% at that level of where you really need them to be to just take care of your body and your wellness. So as I'm transitioning through mine, those are like the two things I was like top of mind. But yeah, mostly for weight maintenance. I feel like we're very, very similar. With
Yeah.
Val too. Mine's, you guys already pretty much said mine are easy protein no matter where I am. And even when I'm with my friends that are vegans, vegetarians, I'm like, where's the vegetarian tofu? You know,
I
seitan. I don't know how to pronounce it.
don't know how to
I
pronounce that one either.
I will do a vegetarian, all protein, everything. So yeah, thank you for sharing that because I know a lot of girlies wanted to just pick our brain. Some of the questions I get, I was like, well, let's chat about it. So what's working for you all, right? Since we're three very different people, but we're very close at the same time. So I just wanted to pick your brains for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
I
don't know
think.
if this is a side note or not, but
Hmm,
since we're on the topic of food and like that kind of balance that we're trying to find in life, I'm not really like big on demonizing a lots of foods, especially in the wellness space. So when we talk about seed oils, I just want to clarify that. Um, while granted, I really don't consume like specific oils, that the issue isn't necessarily like with the seed oils, but how much we're consuming of them and how
okay.
that throws off our omega-6 to omega-3 intake and our
Mm,
like our fat intake. So that can cause more inflammation in the body. Omega-6 is more inflammatory, omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. And so when we're constantly eating out or we're constantly eating processed foods with these seed oils, we're adding more inflammation to our body.
hmm.
So finding the balance again, everything again is it's the balance. Finding the balance and consuming those, bringing it down to a more level place because the average American is like 20 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3, which is outrageous when
That
we
is
want to be
absolutely
closer to
nuts.
like 2, 3-ish to 1. That's a huge, that's like pretty big.
Yeah.
So I really like do try to focus on those quality fats that I'm consuming and balancing them because you want both. You absolutely do want both. I'm just saying like it's something that you have to be cognizant of because they hide in everything.
Yes, yes. And speaking of, since they are mostly in those processed foods, that would be another one of my non-negotiables. And my husband probably hates this one, but eating out is max one to maybe twice a week. So we got to really figure out if we're going to be out and about, where are we taking our meals to? Or, what we got to squeeze in some kind of home cooked meal somehow. Because he knows I just can't do it. But I will, like you said, it's all about balance. I love my McDonald's fries once or twice a year, okay? I'm not gonna lie. They're the best.
They are the best fries. Do you guys know who Brian Johnson is?
That name sounds so familiar.
The longevity expert.
I've
He's like trying to
probably,
reverse the process of aging, basically.
yes, he was on the Kardashians.
Yes, so that's how I know of him because I've just over the weekend when I, wasn't doing anything, I canceled my weekend. I was like, well, let me catch up on some Kardashians.
Finally.
Yeah, so I finally am catching up. But yeah, I had just watched that episode where Kim and Chloe and Chris go and meet with Brian Johnson and they go to his house and he like has all these tech thingies, for, working out your body. And he's like, you just sit on this and it's like the equivalent of like 20,000 sit-ups or whatever. Oh, my light just went out. I was like, why did it just get dark? Well, my light just died. Whatever. And so he basically was going over all these machines with them, and then they sat down and had dinner with them too. And it's so funny, like they didn't realize how like crazy with it he was. They had brought over Kendall Jenner has 818 tequila. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but she has 818
Yes.
Reserve and it comes in this beautiful like eight shaped bottle and they bring it to him and obviously he does not consume any alcohol whatsoever. And
Hero.
so um they're just like, oh, well, you could like dump it out and put your olive oil in it, and he's like, okay, I'll do that. And then they're at this table and then they start off like cheersing and they're like, oh, he's like, we're gonna take a shot together. And they're like, oh, shot, and so they all sling it back and then they realize it was just pure olive oil that they, took a shot
Oh,
of or
I
whatever.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and then he makes them all this meal. And it was just really interesting what he said. Like they were asking him about his diet and the types of foods that he eats. And of course he says, I don't eat anything with sugar, or, nothing bad, like the cleanest of all cleanest diets you could possibly have. And he goes, they're like, how do you do that? And he was like, I eat with a purpose. He's like, anything that I know will not do anything good for my body. I do not put in it. Anything that could be harmful whatsoever, I do not put in my body. And I was like, wow, I love that. Like eating with a purpose, eating knowing that this type of food is going to do something for some part of your body. You know what I mean? And so I just thought that was so interesting and like I felt like that already changed the last couple of days the way I was like looking at food. I'm like, wow, like eating with a purpose. Like we'll never forget that. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, trying to become immortal and all these things. Like, he's on a whole nother level. But
So extreme, so
yeah, he's literally
extreme.
aging backwards. And so I just thought it was so interesting,
And that's
his,
a
his view.
yeah, that frame around food, eating with a purpose is there's so much power behind that. And especially with I know maybe on a different episode we were gonna chat more about disordered eating. And so some of my girlies who do struggle with emotional eating and binge eating in particular, we do have to frame that eating around like around the eating behavior. So but that guy is he's an interesting
He
character.
is very interesting.
And I will say, speaking of the cards, did you guys hear Kanye's new song is like it's just called Kim. I think it's new. It was on an EP that just came out and it's just called
No.
Kim. Yeah, I was like,
Bashing her or no?
no, just like something about, I still love you or something like it was actually pretty nice. I don't know. I only listened to it the once and I was like, what the heck? Look it up. It's crazy.
Yeah, good for him. Good.
Yes, but yay, thanks for chatting, gals. I can talk about food all day. But I figure with 4th of July coming up, at least have some hopefully helpful, which I think very you guys gave some like really good ideas for how people can just balance it all because I think it's so easy to get caught up on one extreme or, a lot of the people I talk to are all have that all or nothing mindset. And so shifting out of that to create what balance looks like it takes a work and effort, but it can be done.
Yeah, it's like a big thing, like let go a little bit, let go of the guiltiness a little bit because I think that's where it comes into. It's not an all or nothing thing. It's just let go of that being guilty and the balance will come slowly.
And speaking of guilt, Britt, a lot of people, and I used to feel this too, feeling guilty about when someone gives you, let's say, you've already had that balance for your week where, okay, I had my ice cream yesterday, so today I'm gonna maybe choose differently. But someone gives you, at work, a plate of cookies or something, letting go of that guilt too, of just say no or, thank you, and maybe give them to the homeless.
Give
I
it to
don't
someone
know.
else.
Give it
Yeah.
to
Figure
the
it
homeless.
out. Someone who can use it, but don't feel guilty about saying no. You got goals. Eat
Uh,
with a purpose. Thanks to Brian
Brian.
Johnson.
yeah.
Brian.
And do not like let people peer pressure you or I think a lot of my clients will always say like, "Oh, I don't know how to navigate." Some be like, "Oh, one cookie is not gonna hurt you," or like, "Come on," just like, that peer pressure of like, and I say to that, are they happy? Are they the ideal vision of health to you for them to be saying that to you? Why are you gonna let them distract you
Hmm,
from what
hmm.
you want to do when maybe they're not in the best health of their life or they're maybe not as happy as they could be if they were doing what you were doing. And look how happy you are doing and achieving what you want to do. Like
Hmm.
it's very easy to fall into that peer pressure space because everyone's like that's the cool thing to do is to drink the alcohol or to eat
Mhm.
this or that. But is that going to make you happy or them happy?
Right.
Mhm.
So true.
And yeah, we've got to practice really on this journey as we're talking about finding balance. We're saying yes to some things. We've got to also practice saying no to many other things. And depending on what part of your journey you're in, it might be a lot more things to say no to, what you're struggling with, how you've been raised. So yeah, girls, but you can do it at the end of the day. It's possible. These two lovely ladies are balancing it well with all the crazy life experiences things throw our way, and just happy to share. So thank you, and we'll see you. We'll see you on the next.
Until next time, and happy 4th of July. Stay safe,
Happy 4th.
but take an Uber.
Uber
Yes,
this
take it
weekend.
Uber.
Bye.
Bye.